Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe, forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Oh, for a faith that will not shrink, though pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe, that will not murmur or complain beneath a chastening rod, but in the hour of grief or pain will lean upon its God. A faith that shines more bright and clear when tempests rage without, that when in danger knows no fear, in darkness feels no doubt. Lord, give us such a faith as this, and then whatever may come, we'll taste and hear the hallowed bliss of an eternal home. A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fitted for the sky, to serve the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my powers engage to do my Master's will. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely. Assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die. Rise up, O men of God, have done with lesser things. Give heart and mind and soul and strength to serve the King of Kings. Rise up, O men of God, his kingdom tarries long. Bring in the day of brotherhood and end the night of wrong. Rise up, O men of God, the church for you doth wait. Her strength unequal to her task, rise up and make her great. Lift high the cross of Christ, tread where his feet have trod. As brothers of the Son of Man, rise up, O men of God. Good evening. Let's edify one another this evening, shall we? Just setting up eSword. Hello, Gianna. How are you doing? Oh, no who, huh? How you doing? Just working on setting up another computer. That you're saying you're jailbait? Interesting. Hey, David. I don't know. Not sure why you can't donate jewels. I'll have to look into that one. Hopefully, you've all had a beautiful day. It's rather chilly here in the heartland. What? Oh, okay. I haven't. We didn't have to have any. Didn't have any school today, so I didn't have to go drive school bus, which is kind of nice, restful anyway. Hey, Angie, good to see you. You're trying to stay up. Are you trying to be upstanding, or just upstaying? Um, no, I don't give those out moderator ranks except to the staff here at CEM. At least not at this moment, anyway. That is too much power. Okay. There we go. Good morning, Sam. Yeah, Angie, are you have you got everything ready around for tomorrow? Here we are on Thanksgiving Eve. Normally, I'd be doing some. Um, I didn't put that up there. Anyway, normally I'd be doing some singing and stuff, but as you can kind of tell, that sore throat and stuff is just not allowing me to do any singing. I sound pretty terrible. Not that I sound all that great in the first place, but I sound normally I sound a far sight better than I do right now. Unless, of course, you're talking about bass. I mean, I'd be great for bass. You're working tomorrow. Are you? You say you're working tomorrow, or you're working right now? Oh, you know who? I like that screen name. Oh, you know who? No, really? Ah, so it runs in my mind. You did that last year too, didn't you? Oh, it's amazing how losing one little thing can make us so grateful for something for everything else. Makes us realize exactly what we have. I love singing. I grew up in a household where music played such a big part of our daily lives, and of course that was built thus into my character, into my psyche, I guess you might say. And so even now, like I said, I love singing. And when you get sick, especially with a sore throat, you just can't. You don't feel like it. Your voice won't hold up to it, and as you lose your voice, the ability, you just really begin to appreciate appreciate what you used to have, and appreciate what you do have of other things. Hey, hey, Skylar. Good to have you with us tonight. Hello, Alicia. Good to see you as well. You guys all ready for tomorrow? Make sure you find that insert for the roaster, Alicia. Sounds like we have a cat in the. I know it is. One other thing one other thing that was a part of my growing up was reading, and we had morning devotion as part of our regular schedule, wherein the first half hour to 45 minutes of our school day was reading a portion of the Bible and singing and having a prayer. And then we had a workbook or so that we had to work on as part of that time. But Mom taught us from a very early age how to read. And when I went into kindergarten, I was reading probably at upper first, maybe a second grade level, which was how Mom knew that the school was messing with us. When in third grade, they decided to put me in remedial reading. I had no problems reading. I was reading above my grade by that time, and yet they decided that I needed to be in remedial reading for some reason, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back, per se. Why they pulled us out of school. The reason the school was messing with us is because my two oldest brothers were spending more time in the principal's office than in class, evidently. And so they figured I was going to do the same. Anyhow. But I'm thankful for the upbringing I had. I'm thankful that they decided that this was a viable option. But since I can't sing, figured maybe we could read a couple of passages or so on. Or maybe if you had a question or a biblical question we could go over, we can do that too. In Psalm 26, Psalm 26 and verse 1, beginning in verse 1. Psalm of David. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, therefore I shall not slide. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash mine hands in innocency, so will I compass thine altar, O Lord, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all thy wondrous works. Lord, I have loved the habitation of thy house, and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me, and be merciful unto me. My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregations will I bless the Lord. As we read to that, switching over to the ESV for just a bit, David says in the psalm, he seeks God to test him and to well, as it says, vindicate. Well, you're sure making a lot of noise over there. To answer for him. Hey, Dawson, good to see you again. So, he says, basically, he says to be my backup, or when he says vindicate me, he says answer for me. Be a character witness, if you will. I've walked in my integrity. I've trusted in the Lord without wavering. Prove me. Try me. Test my heart and my mind. Because your steadfast love is before my eyes, and I walk in your faithfulness. I don't sit with men of falsehood. I don't consort with hypocrites. I hate the assembly of evildoers. I won't sit with the wicked. I wash my hands in innocence and go around your altar. In other words, David says, "I am true to I'm true to your principles, Lord." Dawson, I'm doing okay today. I mean, I'm still down with this sickness, as you can no doubt tell in my voice. We're discussing Psalm 26 about Thanksgiving. But he says, I wash my hands in innocency, in innocence, and I go around your altar proclaiming thanksgiving aloud. How do we come before God? How do we go? Do we go around telling people how thankful we are to God and about what He's done for us? David did. there are times when there just aren't enough words in the English dictionary to accurately convey all that God has done for you and I. It's what makes it's what makes this life truly wonderful. Looking at each day and saying, what am I going to discover today? What am what am I going to go through today? Now, yes, plenty of times we've gone through grief and sorrow. But here's the thing. You stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself in that mirror. You can look at it and you can see that you've gone through it. You may still be going through some terrible times. But here's the thing. Again, you can look in the mirror and realize that you are still alive. You're still going through. You're still bearing up. It may be difficult, but you've made it this far. And if you've made it this far, doesn't that mean you can make it even further? It isn't. Whew, throat was getting rather dry. Hello, Sister T. Um, Many times we take for granted the fact that, especially being young, we've made it this far. That, hey, I did this or I did that. Um, Yet, how often have you had to pause and really think about how to breathe? How often have you had to stop and think about how to actually move your hands or your feet, your arms, your fingers? Many of these things we take for granted. Yet, ask anyone who's had surgery on any of those, or those who have had those digits amputated, or a knee replaced, hip replaced, etc., and ask them how hard it was for them um, to return to activeness or action because of them having to relearn how to walk or how to move or use, um, how to adapt and to live without that limb or that digit. It wasn't by our own steam. It was through the mercy and the strength of the Lord. Oh Lord, I love the habitation of your house and the place where your glory dwells. David was so thankful to have that, to be a part of that. He loved it because it was a part of God. It was where God was. Today, according to 1 Peter chapter 2, the church is the habitation of God. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. Which tells you yourselves, like living stones, are being built up as a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Verse 9, you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh which wage war against your souls. Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation. We are that house, that habitation of God. Paul says that in both 1 Corinthians 3 as well as in 1 Corinthians 6. And the psalmist says, "O Lord, I love the habitation of your house and the place where your glory dwells." Excuse me. So he can definitely say with thanksgiving, I go around your altar, O Lord, proclaiming thanksgiving aloud. Where's the altar today? Well, it's in our hearts. We can go around God's altar with thanksgiving, proclaiming God's wondrous works, not just around the altar, but with, as we tell ourselves what God has done for us, we can tell others what God has done for us. It's an acknowledgement to ourselves, as well as then a outpouring of that thanksgiving, and that through not just our hearts, but also through our mouth. And then he finishes out the psalm by saying, do not sweep my soul away with sinners, nor my life with bloodthirsty men, in whose hands are evil devices, and whose right hands are full of bribes. But as for me, I shall walk in my integrity. Redeem me and be gracious to me. My foot stands on level ground. In the great assembly, I will bless the Lord. He says, first off, don't just sweep me up and put into the dustbin and cast me out. I'm not the same as them. I'm not one with the evil devices. I'm not going against your commands. I'm one who walks in integrity. Be gracious and redeem me. And he then says, my foot stands on level ground. When we abide in the commands of God, there is no shaky ground that we stand on. Get rid of that air. As Ephesians 4 tells us, that we've been given that doctrine, the apostles, the prophets, we've been given evangelists, shepherds, and teachers to equip us for the work of the ministry, for the building up of the body of Christ, so that we can all attain to that unity of the faith, that unity of the doctrine, that system of belief, and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature and fullness of Christ, so that we are no longer like children tossed to and fro, carried about by every wind of doctrine, every wind of teaching, but by every human cunning, by human cunning, by craftiness and deceitful schemes. Rather, we are rooted, we are grounded, we are built up um, with that sincere doctrine, with that one doctrine, with that one knowledge of the Son of God. Speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up every man in every way unto him who is the head, even unto Christ. So we can stand on that level ground, that solid ground. And then he says, in the great assembly, that is, when the church comes together, we can bless the Lord. Just some Thanksgiving thoughts to think about. All that God has done for us in redeeming us, in preserving us, in saving us, and maintaining us. In being our answer, our justifier. Well, we can definitely bless the Lord and spout off with the thanksgiving that we have, that we feel. Now, as is my want here on Wednesdays, CJ asked that it be a part of my normal Wednesday. So, the merry men of Gotham. This is the poor plowman and the rich nobleman. Now Jack of Dover was roaming up and down the yellow, dusty roads, making his search for the fool of fools, and making inquiries in the most of the places in England. One day he came to Devonshire, where he found there dwelt a country plowman who, because of his simpleness, was made a fool of by almost everyone. Most people thought he acted as silly as the merry men of Gotham. There was also in the town a rich gentleman who, more than any other, made sport of this poor plowman. He was a mean man, ever greedy for what others had. Now the poor plowman had a fat, sleek milk cow that the gentleman had seen and wanted as his own, and knowing what a fool the plowman was, he figured he could get the animal without paying a copper for it. Every time he met the simple man, he told him of the well-known good words, to wit, that whosoever gives a gift with a full goodwill of the heart will be repaid doubly by the Lord in heaven before the year is over. The poor plowman, hearing these words again and again, thought 'twould be fine to have two kine for his one cow in a year's time. So one day, when he heard the gentleman say it for perhaps the 20th time, and seeing the great benefit to him in his poverty if he had two cows instead of one, he said, "Your worship, take my milk cow with my goodwill and God's blessing, and may she return double before the year is over, as you, good sir, said 'twould happen." The gentleman took the fat animal and led it to his meat house, where he kept his other kine. "Ha ha! What a witless fool!" he cried. "I knew I'd get the beast from that numbskull without paying. Never will he see it again." He smiled and rubbed his hands, well contented with his misdeed. The poor plowman waited patiently through the changing days and moving months, hoping two cows would come back for the one he had given away. One evening, he was sitting at his bare table eating bread and milk when he heard a cow mooing at his window. He ran out quickly, and there, certain as the stars, stood his cow with another animal, a fine fat ox, just as the good gentleman had promised and foretold. Now, you know, cows ever have a way of wanting to return to their own old home, so this cow had come back to her old home, and the fat ox had followed her. Of course, the poor plowman did not think of this. He believed the Lord, through the gentleman, had rewarded him for giving away his cow with a good will. He raised his hands in thankful prayer for the blessing and said, "See how the Lord works with this good gentleman, for he, pitying my estate, hath sent my cow double home. Indeed, I will take this lordly gift from his hands most thankfully." He drove both the cattle into his stall, butchered the ox at once, and salted him away in his tubs for the coming months. The next morning, he took the cow back to the gentleman and said, "Yesternight you sent my cow back doubly according to your word, and here I bring her back again, hoping once more for the benefit of your good courtesy." Meaning he would once again get 2 cows for the one. The gentleman thought the poor plowman was only speaking foolish words, and had brought back the animal that had wandered off. He took the cow and put her in the stable with his other kind, never noting that one was gone. But a week later, the cow once again came back to her old home for exactly the same reason as before, bringing with her another ox. The poor plowman was overjoyed and thanked the Lord and the rich gentleman from his very heart. He salted away the second ox to sell the meat and returned his own again. This happened week after week, maybe 5 or 6 times, until the foolish plowman had the finest beefs of the gentleman who had tried to cheat him. Then one fine day the rich man discovered what had been going on, and he raised a hue and cry and went to the judge, dragging the plowman along. The judge listened, and so did many a man, among them Jack of Dover. The judge held, and so did all that who heard, that the gentleman could never recover anything at the poor man's hands, because he had promised him, and did not deny it, double for his gift. "Now this, to my mind, is pretty foolery," said Jack Dover, "but yet the fool of fools is not here, found that I looked for." So up he rose to continue his search throughout England. A cat may look on a king, and what of that? When a cat so looketh, a cat is still a cat. Hopefully and prayerfully, you all have been edified through our chat tonight, drawn closer to the Lord as you thought about Thanksgiving and what the Lord has done for you, blessing you. That way, whether we wake tomorrow to serve God here on this earth tomorrow, or we wake tomorrow up there to serve Him where He is, where He resides in His home, or should I say to serve Him up there, you know where I'll have the honor, the privilege, the pleasure of being. For I'll see you then. God bless and you walk with Him. I love you all, and have a blessed evening. I suppose I'm the only one here for tech, so I better shut my own stream down.